Hello everybody, welcome to our evaluation part 4. We filmed our audience feedback and now we're going to review it and see what they said.
Okay, so the first question is, what do you think about the audience feedback?
So from after filming the audience feedback, I felt they gave a lot of detailed points and they really analysed ways in which they found successful about our music video, and they were very honest with how, like, if there were any ways we could have improved it. I think the main thing that they went into detail was the digipack. So each image they analysed it and explained what they kind of felt after looking at the different images and as a collective how they were. I think the main thing that I really liked was that they said was when they were analysing the cover image, and they were talking about how LD being in front of a house kind of shows that he's looking, this is his past and he's going to be looking into the future, and he's kind of, let's bring it.
I think you relate to the theme of nostalgia reminiscing, and yes, even in the fact that they were able to identify that theme that we want to express in a music video in such like an image that we weren't even able to foresee for ourselves was like really helpful and impactful. And I think in general, like, the responses were largely positive about how we like created most of our products. And I think they were mostly critical of our the disc within the digipack over any other product that we actually created.
Because basically when we showed them our magazine adverts and our digipack, we gave them 2 different versions that we were not really sure which one we wanted to be our final product. So we showed them each individual product, and they gave us a lot of feedback on what they kind of liked about them. However, they were very, they did tell us about something we could have improved on with our digipack. So they enjoyed some aspects of the first version and the second version. So we kind of might have to change that a bit. But it's very simple because it was like just they enjoyed the disc of it because of the first version, because it, as a collective with the second,
they all kind of complement each other.
They all complement each other because of the colour palette. That's what they mainly talked about as well.
One thing the audience really liked about the music video was that the lip syncing was really good, and this was not only because of the match on that, the cutting on the beat, but also because of LD as an artist himself and how LD personally, represented the artist of being young and growing up.
I would just like to add as well about the lip syncing. They didn't, like, initially, like when they were watching the music video, they didn't really know that this belonged to another person. They immediately kind of thought that it was me. So I feel like that shows the success in how we represented the artist in the music video, which then kind of complements the lip syncing and how I'm kind of singing the song as the music video progresses.
Do you think you have reached your target audience?
Okay, so I do feel like we did reach our target audience in terms of how we represented the artist in the music video as well as in the ancillary texts, because I feel like what we tried to show was a kind of youthful perspective to kind of different sceneries and different environments. We didn't try to conform to that essential era of just technology and people becoming over obsessed over like certain kind of social media stuff. We tried to represent a more outdoors kind of exterior environments and stuff to enforce the sense of nostalgia and to enforce the sense of like hedonism and tribalism about friendship through the supporting cast.
Also with our music video, I feel like it kind of represented this sense of enjoying the last few years of your youth and appreciating the fact that we have so much more freedom than we will in the future. So one way that we kind of represented that in our music video was through the locations. I think that was the main way that we indicated that we wanted our artists to appreciate the outdoors. So one of the locations that we chose were Richmond Park. The kind of outdoorsy, the very natural sense of it. It was very pastoral and idyllic. and it kind of, I think they all kind of resonate with our target audience, especially because we've done a lot of research trying to find out what his audience are like, and through reading like the comments on their video, on Conan Gray's YouTube videos, and watching his videos itself, and how his audience really enjoy when he's very open and very like himself, if that makes sense. Like he's very, he shows a lot of his personality in his YouTube video, and I think he also goes to a lot of different locations as well, especially being from an area like Texas, which is very, I don't think
it does have like open space.
Yeah, a lot of open space. So we wanted to replicate that in our music video, and by going to places like Richmond Park and Brighton Pier, where the only focus is the beauty of the nature, I feel like our audience would really enjoy that.
As for the attire used in the music video, because of the different friends wearing different types of clothes, especially LD's denim clothes, we felt that for the target audience, it's something that, you know, is trendy, and so the target audience will kind of recognize that type of fashion and will kind of like, you know, resonate with the artists when they watch the music video.
I just want to add on to Vi's point about how they can identify with the clothing. I think as well it's about the aesthetics, the certain indie aesthetics that we were trying to reach, and also just styles and types of clothing that are comfortable and sensible to wear, which I think as well would relate for our kind of demographic, our audience, who are from a socio-economic background of like C1 to D, which can't, you know, people that can't necessarily afford, you know, very trendy, very over the price kind of types of attire and clothing and schemes of schemes of style. So I feel like it was important when we decided on clothing that it was clothing that we were comfortable with and that we were aware and had access to, which would support kind of the convention of our target audience and who they are.
So in regards to us initially beginning production, as a group we individually had our own chosen songs. So Cartoon and Vi actually chose the song Conan Gray, whereas me and LD actually had completely separate songs. However, as a collective we all decided to go with Grow because we felt that it resonated with us the most in regards to the theme of growth, as is an experience that we've all experienced and are currently going through. And to really emphasize this theme throughout our music video and the other remaining products, we had the process of beachcombing, in which involved us skimming through numerous videos that we felt that we could find inspiration from, as well as a task that required us to research other various digipacks and magazine adverts and then analyze those features and find traits of that we felt that could easily be replicated in our own products. What else is that?
Shooting scripts.
For our main product of the music video, we were required to complete a shooting script, which entailed that we had to produce a detailed plan per second and per frame of what would be included in regards to what type of shots, what actions and what characters would be depicted in each shot. And that allowed us to have a more precise music video in general. And despite the fact that we didn't initially keep to our first draft of the shooting script, it still acted as an appropriate basis for us whilst we were out filming and editing as well.
I feel like the production schedule as well was important to the planning of like filming production and stuff like that, because it made sure it reiterated basically the dates that we were going to film and kind of the deadlines, including the editing and kind of finalizing all three products.
So another document we used for planning was location recce, and you know, this was a presentation where it had the different locations we used for the music video, and you know, we used this as a guide to look back into to see, you know, why we chose those locations, especially like places like Richmond Park, and how it would show freedom with its open space.
Another thing that we used before we began filming was we allocated job roles, and this meant that we were more organised in the way that we were we were working together, because it's very important for, as we were working as a group, it's very important to focus on communication, and if we share the workload, then we will be more productive. So I think Vi was working on, we allocated Vi to do the job roles list, and each person had a task to do, and it just meant that we were more organised and we didn't waste time as well.
So I think overall with the planning that we had allowed us to be more organised and to have more precise details in regards to our main product, which was the music video, as well as the other auxiliary products. But I think in regards to appealing to our audience, I think the beachcombing task was probably the most important integral task in actually aiding us to have a music video that showed the themes of like hedonism, tribalism, and escapism, which were things that we really wanted to express and that we felt that would resonate with our target audience of those aged 16 to 25.
Looking at Conan Gray's like Instagram and his Twitter and other social medias, he's very colourful in his clothing, and I think that's something that a lot of people like is kind of recognised by him, but the audience will recognise that. So we should have thought about that when we were representing our artists, because in the music video, our artist wore a lot of like quite darker clothing, more like grey tones, and the only colourful thing he really had was the pyjama bottoms seen when he was at Richmond Park. And I think we should have mainly focused on incorporating more colourful clothing so that it kind of so it's more noticeable by Conan's audience. So one shot that the audience didn't really enjoy or didn't really like that much was, I think close to the end, there was a close-up shot of our protagonist, and it was like kind of, how do I explain it?
Tilted.
Yeah, tilted. His face was tilted, and he was looking down at the camera, and they didn't really understand the message of that, because if he was, they would have preferred if he was looking straight at the camera and giving the camera eye contact, because I think the line that he was saying was very impactful and meaningful, and he should have been looking directly at the audience so that so that they kind of understand the message a bit better.
In addition to what Carlton said, I think towards the conclusion of the music video, there were cutaways during the chorus that didn't necessarily correspond with the performative nature of like the lip syncing. So especially, I think another one was the airplane scene, in which you see it could be perceived as like a point of view shot of the protagonist looking down into the skyline with the airplane there, and I think members of our audience were kind of taken aback by that, and they saw it kind of random and necessarily it didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. But I think after explaining and actually discussing it as a focus group and with us, to me and Cartoon, they were able to understand the importance of that shot and how it emphasised the theme of travelling and freedom, and the fact that it related to the numerous locations that we had included in our music video, showing that our protagonist is an individual that is completely boundless and is able to just travel and has complete freedom.
The freedom to travel and stuff like that.
I think, so basically some of the clips, even though they weren't as significant or as like long lasting, like even though they were like maybe a second in terms of its time frame in the music video, I feel like some remained unexplained or unjustified. So I think if we were given the chance again to film, what I think we would have done is kind of given more thought to some of the little clips that we kind of missed, because we were trying to prioritize a lot, and I think by prioritizing we kind of missed out some of the little things that may have had a bit more impact than we actually expected.
If we were to film again, I think I would choose a better camera, because I feel that some of the shots in the music video, they weren't very clear, and with a better camera we could have saw more of the mise en scène, the more of the colours of the different clothes that the artists were wearing and the different locations, because I feel that with the music video, because we had quite a bad quality camera, the lighting wasn't very good. And this is really important, because professionalism is very important to the audience. When they see something that's low quality, they wouldn't be engaged. But if it was of a high quality, they would be more engaged and would continue to watch the music video.
Yeah. So I think maybe more of a budget, other than you know, money spent on like transport to further places like Richmond Park or even Brighton would have been beneficial.